Yes. Welcome inside our CBS Sports studios. I'm Adam Schein alongside my guy, the great Kyle Long. And Kyle, speaking of greatness, best team in the NFC. Let's have a little fun because I think that you can make a case for about 5, 6, 7 different teams. And we could talk about a current power ranking. We could talk about Super Bowl favorite, which, by the way, is a different conversation.
Which team has the ability to get hottest, score the most points? I think that's important.
So it's funny. You say gets hot, and obviously we got to wait and see what happens with the severity of the Puka Nacua injury. I picked the Rams before the season started. They have 2 losses. Obviously, what happened in overtime against San Francisco. And you take a look at the 19-point lead. They blew it against Philly. Honestly, I'm staying with the Rams. They still have a Hall of Fame quarterback who has played brilliant football. Love Sean McVay. He's a sensational coach. They can run the ball. The line plays great. The defense, they smothered the artist formerly known as the Baltimore Ravens. I still think the Rams are the team most likely in this wild NFC to go to the Super Bowl.
Well, there are plenty of great teams, as you led with in this segment. And I think it's important to point out how that NFC really does have the best rosters, but all the Jedis, they reside at quarterback in the AFC. But as far as these complete teams, the Rams, they have the formula for success. They've got a brilliant head coach who has been to the top of the mountain. They've got a quarterback who has seen everything and literally done everything, from being at the bottom of the barrel to the top of the heap in Los Angeles with Matt Stafford. They've got a defensive front who, if it does become a backyard football, score a lot of points type game, I anticipate that defensive front having the upper hand against any offensive line they're facing. In addition to that, you got 2 winners at receiver. We're going to know more about Puka Nacua. They're talking about keeping him stateside for their Euro trip. They go out to play Jacksonville. Obviously, they played on the East Coast, so the Rams will continue east across the pond. Puka potentially going back to Los Angeles to rest up for that run. But you're absolutely right. The Rams are right there in that conversation. But the team that I would say right now that's hotter and has more legs for later will be the Detroit Lions. And we made a lot of hubbub this offseason.
I was wrong.
About the coordinators.
I was wrong.
And I was wrong too. One thing I wasn't wrong about is that Dan Campbell's culture is for real. Jared Goff is the CEO at quarterback, and he has been playing an exemplary brand of quarterback for the Detroit Lions. They're a 2-headed monster at running back. The speedsters they've got outside, a guy like Amon-Ra St. Brown who can win in any weather, any situation. That's a guy who you can throw the football to. And the offensive line, obviously some reshuffling of pieces on the interior. They've got some new guys in there. I think about a guy like Tate Ratledge, who's playing guard for them. They had to have some continuity early on, get to know each other. They have gelled as an offensive line, and the strength for the Detroit Lions is the strength again. Now, those primetime players on the defensive side of the ball, that was really the Achilles heel last year for this group. They couldn't stop a nosebleed at the end of the season. Granted, they could score with anybody, but they had to score to remain competitive. So I got the Lions on there. And the things I wrote down, it's an O-line forward team, Goff quarterback masterclass, and the Campbell culture. You cannot beat a guy that you can't kill. And that's what the Detroit Lions football team is. The opponent you just can't kill, and they're going to continue to score. The Packers is the other group. And I know you and I have had some very long-winded conversations about Jordan Love.
Not a Jordan Love guy.
But when I take a look at the way that roster is built and the guy who they have pressing the buttons in Matt LaFleur, I trust that this team will be as competitive as anybody. And obviously they're playing the Cincinnati Bengals as we're speaking. It's early in the game, and I'm sure we'll have takes next week. The other team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah.
Okay, this guy Baker Mayfield is special.
Unbelievable.
And, everybody in America is saying that right now, and I think that's important. But when you look a little bit deeper into the micro for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, this is a group that has not been operating at full power. Okay, the offensive line has had injuries. Luke Gedecke's been out. 3 of their top receivers, Godwin, McMillan, Evans, all out. Swerving Bucky Irvin's been out. But this team has found ways to win. Okay, they have had backup tackles in there at the right tackle spot. I think about a guy like Charlie Heck, who's been out there battling. Tristan Wirfs back in the lineup, huge for this group. But I think that it all starts with Baker Mayfield. I know this is an NFC team, but it kind of feels like He's the one Jedi that got away from the AFC, that got to the NFC. And obviously in Tampa Bay, they make the right decisions in that building to have the right players. I would be remiss if I didn't mention Emeka Egbuka.
Yeah.
Because he comes into that building with that alpha that is Mike Evans, earns the respect from him immediately. And Mike Evans is running, telling anybody who he can, this guy's special. It's a microcosm of the football team. Whoever needs to step up for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they will, and they'll continue to do so as long as Baker Mayfield's healthy. And obviously, we talked about the Seahawks earlier. Seahawks, a really special team, a team that leads with defense, and they're getting a lot of really good quarterbacking play out of Sam Darnold.
Darnold's been unbelievable. Jackson Smith-Njigba has arguably been the best wide receiver in the NFL this year. Puka Nacua would be the only one that would have any kind of case. They could win any style of fight. They won in Pittsburgh. They won in Jacksonville. I mean, these are big-time wins, and they're 2 losses when you look at it against San Francisco and against Tampa, and those were very close, one-score down to the wire games. You know, I'm not going to put in this conversation Philadelphia. And we were ahead of the curve on this, Kyle. I don't view the Philadelphia Eagles with their offensive coordinator, with the issues with Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown. Look, they can still make the playoffs and win the division, but I don't take them seriously here as a team that can make a deep run in the playoffs.
You know, all pickup trucks, they kind of look the same, but some pickup trucks have a diesel engine in it. And diesel will get you to the moon and back. And for the Philadelphia Eagles, that is and has been their offensive line. And right now, the diesel engine ain't working. And I'll tell you, injuries to guys like Landon Dickerson, Cam Jurgens dealing with some health stuff, the right guard spot being in flux since Mekhi Becton left. None of it ties together well. And you expect to have Mailata at left tackle, Dickerson at left guard, Jurgens at the center spot, Steen or whoever it's going to be at right guard, and Lane Johnson. You say, we're set. But that's not the reality of the National Football League. And Mailata needs to play better, and I'm sure he would tell you that. And he's used to having Landon Dickerson out there, who's the size of a prized hog out there. I mean, you can't see past Landon Dickerson. When he's out of the game, the double teams are affected. The run game is affected. Saquon Barkley ain't happy. You can't get your run game leading to the pass game. So now A.J. Brown's pissed off. Devontae, the Slim Reaper, he's pissed off too. It seems like a lot of things are in flux in Philadelphia. I think they have the talent to make a run and be in the playoffs, but this ain't the same team that we saw last year dominate in the Super Bowl.
I'm going to give you one other team quickly to keep an eye on, the Minnesota Vikings.
Yep.
They're coming off the bye week. We'll see if J.J. McCarthy is healthy. Still have Justin Jefferson. Elite coaching with Kevin O'Connell and Brian Flores. Don't sleep on the Minnesota Vikings.